Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be looking at ADA. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have a macro video above, so check that out for those higher time frame moves if that's more what you're interested in. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to go over the two possibilities that I'm looking at the moment. There are other options available, which we were talking about in the macro video, but these are the two most likely in my opinion currently. And one of them would be looking at this possibility that we could actually be having this as a fifth wave to the downside, where we could actually be looking to come down towards this zone of this 2059 to this 1604 as a possible fifth wave target. Some additional target areas are this 121 of the wave 1, which would actually be here at the 1769, and then we also have this 0.382 of the wave 1 to 3, which would be here at the 1696. So I would be keeping an eye on these two levels, and really this is going to be my primary count here until we actually invalidate the idea of actually having a fourth wave here. And then we'd be looking for, you know, a possibility of a flat correction here instead. So this is the two ways that I'm currently having a look at this. You know, there is still the potential that we could form this as a three-wave move up, three-wave move down, and then we actually see a five-wave move to the upside, looking for a C wave, which could look to push us up towards this 6376 to this 4959 if we are looking at this as a expanding flat in this area. Alternatively, what we could also see here is that if we got a smaller five-wave move actually looking to push towards this 4246, this could actually tie in with the idea of having a running flat here, but the expanding variation is much more common within these structures. Okay, so we're going to go over that idea that within this structure we had a fourth wave here, and then we're looking for this fifth wave down. Now, the way that I would be looking at this would effectively be that within the structure to the downside, what we have is 1 2 1 2, and then all of this would be a wave 3. So we're going to come in closer here and we're going to dive down into this. So the way I would currently be looking at this is that as long as we actually respect this 2909, what we could still be with is within this fourth wave here. Now, we could argue the fourth is completed here, but if we're looking at this as a wave 2 in comparison, I'd want to see something a bit more beefy over here for this wave 4. I'd like to see this actually progress down, possibly do something like this as an A wave. This is ABC. And then we see, you know, something like this, possibly WXY or an AB and a C, looking to elongate this fourth wave a little bit here. So really, this 2909 is going to be our key level here as a fourth wave. Once we start to push up above that 50%, we need to be cautious of invalidation, though invalidation would only be up here towards this 3485. So we need to just be aware crossing that move there would invalidate the idea of having this additional fifth wave to the downside. So now within this structure, what I'm looking for is there is possibility we could start to break down directly here, and we're going to go over that first. What we could actually argue is that within this structure here, what we could actually have is that this could be a wave 1 and we're looking for a wave 2. Now, invalidation of this as a potential wave 1 and 2 would actually come by crossing this 2896. So we need to bear in mind that there is also the potential that this could be A, B, and C. So we'd also be keeping an eye on this 1-to-1 level here. This would actually be bringing us back into some of these lows. If we do see price come down into this zone, would be interesting to see how we react around that 1-to-1 level. However, now if we start to fall off in a bigger way here and we get a move which comes down here towards this 02193, this would tie into the idea of this actually being a third wave here. We'd get a fourth wave up, and then we'd see continuation to the downside to this 2150 to this 2082. Now, the key thing within these two separate counts here is that if we do get this additional push to the downside here, within this count, which we're looking for the fifth wave, this would actually mean that we still have an additional leg to the upside here in a fourth, and then we'd be looking for an additional fifth wave to the downside. Now, invalidation of this would only be much higher up here by crossing this 3757. Now, if we are looking at this in this way, what we'd be looking for effectively is this secondary fourth over here, looking to actually come back up here and challenge this 2872 to this 2353 area, and then getting an additional five wave move to the downside, looking to target out that 1841 to this 1650 level. So if we do see this actually play out where we get this fourth wave here, we get a fifth down, we get another fourth and a fifth, this would actually look to push us down into this target area and would look to bring us towards this 0.38 line here at the 1696, as well as that we also have this 1-to-1 sitting within this area, particularly towards this 1236 if we did actually see the waves play out exactly as I have them mapped out here. Now, we need to be aware that if we do actually see this reverse though, and we actually start to break back above this 2909, what we could see is that we could start to get a reversal, and instead what we could argue then is that within this count here, we actually have a triangle in this position here. Now this would mean that we can't have this as 1 2 1 2. So if this is the case, this could actually just be ABC into this low. This could be our B wave here, and then effectively it doesn't matter that we've gone past this 1618 here, because we can't extend with this having a triangle in this leg. This would just be a simple 3-wave move. So this is why we've got to be cautious at the moment. We just have 3 waves here. Ideally, what I'd like to see is, you know, this break down in another 5-wave move. Then we could argue, okay, well, then now we have that possibility that within this, you know, this is 1 2 1 2, and then we're looking for that breakdown in this 3 4 5, and then we'd be looking for an additional 4th and a 5th. But if we fail to actually achieve this and we get a move back up here and cross that invalidation point of that 34.85, this could tie into that idea of the flat. Now within the flat, what we'd be looking for is, like I said, we've come down into this typical flat zone. Now, you know, most of the times these do look to actually push down deeper towards this 1382, so we'll have to keep an eye on this. If we just see this actually do this as ABC, then we see a bigger 3-wave move to the upside, which fails to take this high point. It could actually be that we get something like this as an A, B, and a C, which just makes this take a little bit more time to play out and actually get our B wave, you know, similar in time to this A wave that we've got over here. So this is why I'm keeping an eye on this. You know, if we just have this as a 3-wave move and we move up past that wave 1 level, either we have this as 1 2 1 2, and then we got another bigger 1 2, which I wouldn't really like the structure of that, or alternatively this is just ABC, we get a 3-wave move back up here for another B wave, and then we see, you know, continuation to the downside, in which case this 1382, which would be this 1861, it could be a possible target. Now if we are arguing this is complete, because if we are saying that this is A, this is B, and this is C to the downside, technically speaking, this is done enough to complete. And what we could be looking to do is actually reverse to the upside. Now, if we are looking at this as a reversal to the upside, what we could get is something along these lines. And we're going to come in a bit closer here. Now, there was 2 ways we're talking about this. We're saying, you know, possibly we could actually have this B wave in play already, and we're looking to push to the upside here for the C wave. Or alternatively, what we could actually have within here is that this move is a W, this is an X, and then we're going to see another 3-wave move to the downside. Now, if we did have to look to break to the downside here, the 1 to 1 of this would actually be here at this blue line here. This 24.12 would be that 1 to 1 area. Now, this would actually be quite an interesting zone if we do look to move in here. This would be looking to bring us back into that golden pocket region. So if we do see a breakdown here where we see either a 3-wave move or a 1 2 3 4 5, where this would then actually just become A, B, and C, we could actually see a move back down into these levels. Now, invalidation of this possibility of looking to push to the upside would come by crossing this 22-cent level. Once we start to lose this 786 here at this 2329, it starts to become less likely we're going to see that continuation. Though, technically speaking, we've done enough here that this could be completed. So if this is completed, what we could actually have here is a series of 1s and 2s, in which case we could be looking to push to the upside. So that would actually look something like this. And I'm going to come in closer here again, and we're going to go over this potential. So if we are looking to break out, what I would then be looking for would be the potential that within the structure here, we have 1 2 1 2 1 2, and looking for a bigger 3rd wave. So this would be a series of 1s and 2s. There is also the potential here that this could actually become 1 2, and then we'd see ABC like this and actually start to form a diagonal pattern where we could see a contracting diagonal form here like this, where this would effectively become 1 2 3 4 and 5, and then we'd be looking for that possibility that this could actually be our A wave, and then looking for a push to the downside and a B wave. Once again, the idea would be the same. We don't really want to cross this low here, and I'd like to see these other 2 lows hold as well here, and we'd want to see this move up in quite an impulsive way. Now, if this is a 1 2 again, what I'd be looking for here is a strong move to the upside here, looking for this 1618 here, this 2863. And what we want to see is a 5-wave move up here into this wave 3 location. Be looking for a 4th and a 5th, in which case we'd be looking to potentially look to push up towards this 2917 to this 2883 if we do manage to hold above this zone of this 2752. So the key thing here would be is if we do see a bigger move to the upside here, invalidation of the fifth wave then becomes the top end of this structure here. So what we'd want to see is effectively this move starting to push up here and starting to extend to the upside. Now, this could set in motion a series of fourths and fifths, which could actually look to push us up here towards this 30 cent 49 to this 29.82 level. This could actually just be an A, B, and a C at this point. And if we turn that back on where we're looking for that possibility, what we can see is this 1-to-1 is here at this 31.73. So if we did look to push up here, I'd be interested in keeping an eye on this 1-to-1 level. And then if we do get further extension in here, we could actually look to push above this. Alternatively, if we do look at this as a minimum requirement here, what we'd be looking at would be this 0.618 here. And that would be looking at the 0.618 being the minimum that we'd want to see as a C wave to the upside. But we could also turn on this 786 and this 854 as possible other targets. And now if I just overlay this again, we can see that 786 would actually tie in with coming back up into this 30 cent range. So I would be keeping an eye on this if we do start to push to the upside. Now, it is always possible within this, we could start to see further extension, where we could see this actually extend out even higher here. And what we'd be looking for as a potential breakout would, if this is a 1 and a 2 here, what we'd be looking for is this actual 37.36 area. Now, if we did move up towards this 37.36, what this could actually mean is that we could have this as 1, 2, 3 up into this level. We'd get an additional fourth, and then we'd be looking for a fifth, which could actually look to push us up back up here towards this 41.34 to this 38.83. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. If we do continue to hold this low here, we could possibly look to push to the upside. But like I said, primarily until we actually break that fourth wave location, it's possible that we could start to break down. So first thing I want to see, if we're looking for that more bullish count, would be breaking back above this invalidation point of this 28.96. Until we do that, what we could argue is that we have a 5-wave move here, and we'd be at least looking for either this structure to become A, B, and C, in which case we look to break down, in which case we could look for that possibility of a reversal. Alternatively, this could become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside. Now, if we do just get this as an A, B, and a C, what we could actually see here is a triangle. Now, this is also a possibility. It would still be within the same idea here, where we are looking at this as a fourth wave. What we could actually see in this zone would actually be a triangle, and that would look something along these lines. Now, there's a couple of ways we can look at this. We could argue that if we want to count this move as A, B, and C, this could actually be our B wave area here. Now, if we want to say that rather what we have here is this is 1, 2, this becomes 3, we have 4 and 5 here. This could mean that actually this is a wave here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. If we do look at it in the 5-wave pattern, effectively what you'd be looking for would be that possibility of A, B, and C to the downside, which if we just get a 1-to-1 could actually still keep this idea of a triangle alive. And what it would mean is that we could actually just have a bigger triangle here, where this is ABC. For a B wave, we'd see a C wave, a D wave, an E wave, and then still see that continuation down. Alternatively, what we could actually have here is that if this is A, B, and C for an A wave here, what we could then have is that this is our B wave, if we want to count this as ABC. In which case, this C wave here, what I would be anticipating would be the idea of this actually being a double zigzag, a complex C wave, where this is ABC X ABC. And what we could see is then the potential to move up here towards the 6.5 to the 6.18 area. Now, this would be just towards this 1-to-1 here as well, which would be this 27.62 level. So if we did see price push up into this zone, what I'd be keeping an eye on would be some of these swing highs to the left-hand side here. Possibly we could look to swing fail off of these and look to start to break down from there. Alternatively, if we did look to push up higher here, we have the 786. We're just sitting in this zone of this 28.13 level. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. The idea with this as a triangle is that if this is a C wave and we did get another push up here and this completed as a double zigzag, what I'd then be looking for is a 3-wave move down for D, a 3-wave move up for E, of continuation back to the downside. So this would be looking at this as a smaller triangle here. The idea of the triangle is still alive really, as long as we stay between these zones of this 25.25 and this 28.96. If we stay within this area, we can keep this triangle idea alive. Alternatively, if this B is not done, and like I said, this is A, B, and we see a C wave to the downside looking to break down here, what we could still see is that possibility that we could get a B wave lower down here towards this 2383 zone. Now, if we do look to break down here, I would be paying a lot of attention to these lows here. We could see this even extend out slightly, where we actually look to push down and fill some of this wick up. We'll have to keep an eye on it if we do actually see that. Now, we do have some levels I want to talk about here. So directly above us, now if we're looking for that idea of this either being 1, 2, or just looking for that C wave to the upside in the triangle, we do have a daily naked point of control sitting here at this 2807. So I would be keeping an eye on this level if we do move up here. As well as that, we have one here sitting towards this 30-cent region, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. Now, if we do look to move to the downside here is an ABC, what we do have at this zone of this 2436 to this 2432 is a daily and a weekly naked point of control, both printed in a very close proximity here. Be interested to see how we react if we do move down into those levels. Now, that would be looking for that possibility that we're looking for continuation with this A, B, and C if we're looking at a fourth in a normal way, or alternatively that idea of the triangle here. And then really once we start to break down below these lows here, we do have the possibility of looking to push down towards this 1800 area, because we have a weekly naked point of control here. And as well as that, if I come on to the daily, we can see that there is a swing high here that could be quite interesting to see if we get an interaction off of. Okay, so having a look at the daily CPR lines here, what we can see is that we are currently above these central lines, and these are quite tightly spread here, so these could indicate a bit of volatility. Now, we have already come up here towards this S1 line, and we actually started to lose this. I want to see if we actually get a rejection off this. What this could mean is we could see price come back towards these central lines between this 2623 to this 2600 area, in which case we could look to find support before looking possibly to continue to the upside. Or alternatively, if we do see that additional push to the upside here, the S2 line here is this 2754, we have the S3 line here at this 2833, and the S4 here towards this 2894. So I'd be keeping an eye on these zones as potential pivot points if we do look to push up. Now, price can always move directly through these, so we need to just be aware of that fact. Alternatively, if we start to flip this into resistance, what we could see is price actually be gravitated back to the downside here, where we have the R1 line at this 2554, we have the R2 at this 2474, we have the R3 at this 2414, and the R4 towards this 2332. So I would be keeping an eye on those levels if we do see price start to push to the downside here. Now, as well as that, if we come over here and have a look at this on the weekly, what we can see is that we are currently underneath these CPR lines. Now, these CPR lines are aligning with that idea of the fourth wave, and what I'm looking for here is that, if we continue to bash up against these and we can't actually get any purchase on this, what we could see is price actually be gravitated to the downside here, where we have this R1 line here at this 2016, we have the R2 lower down here towards this 1313 as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. If we do see price actually, continue to reject off of these, what we could see is a move down to those levels. Now, it doesn't have to do that. What we could do is just see price actually linger around here, and then on Monday we would actually get a new weekly CPR printed anyway. Now, if we did have to argue that we're going to see that breakout, if we do manage to break back above these CPR lines, what we could see is a move up here towards this S1 line at this 3607, we have the S2 at this 4498, and we have the S3 up here towards this 5197. So I'd be keeping an eye on that if we do see price move to the upside. As we talked about in the previous video with the monthly CPR, we've actually hit all the spread here. So what I'm looking for here is that if we did actually see continuation to the upside in that idea of an A, B, and a C, I'd be keeping an eye on this R1 line as a possible resistance area towards that 30-cent range. So, like we said, that's a interesting level, obviously psychologically as well. So we could see price move up here and then possibly get a rejection to the downside if we do see one more push to the upside here. Now, if we did push higher, we have the R2 at this 32.39, we have the R1 at this 34.92, and then if we do get gravitated back towards these central lines here, we have this at this 37.24, and then if we did actually move up to the S1 39.89, we have 42.23, and this 44.84. So just some extra levels that I'll be keeping an eye on if we do actually look to push to the upside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you enjoyed the I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.